Unfriended is a cyber horror film taking place entirely on a teenager's computer screen. We see this entire film play out over Skype conference video calls, iMessage chats, and Facebook messages. The film depicts a group of teenagers who are all friends on a Skype conference call who are all aware of someone they used to know who committed suicide. Now, this person named Laura Barnes was bullied into doing this because of a video that was filmed of her drunk at a party, and cyberbullying got so intense for her that she actually took her own life. And supposedly, she might just be haunting their computers to get back at them. Yeah. I can't wait for the sequel. Hidden from Newsfeed. So I went into this film with pretty low expectations. I do like horror films when they're good. I like originality. I like unique ways of storytelling. I actually found this movie unsettling and very unnerving. And I think a large reason of that was actually because of the realism depicted by the filmmaker. They used the real Skype sound effects, the real Facebook sound effects, the real iMessage sound effects, all the little details like when a Facebook notification happens and it happens at the top right corner of your screen, or the fact that she has a whole bunch of tabs open in her internet. I mean, all of these little things lent to a very realistic feel when you are looking at this girl's computer screen. The other thing I actually loved about this movie was the very subtle way, and still realistic way, of learning things about this girl who has this computer open. She'll sometimes start to type replies to this thing, this entity, and then she'll delete it before posting it. And as she types those replies, then changes her mind and deletes them and types something else, you learn things about her personality. And that was a very clever way of telling this story, because in a way, this is a very low budget contained thriller. Now, a contained thriller, as I'm sure you guys know, is like, a whole bunch of people in a room, like say 12 Angry Men, 12 jurors in one room trying to decide if someone's guilty or not guilty. This is in a way a contained thriller. It takes place almost entirely during a Skype conversation. Now, you might think that's going to get boring. The movie's around 80 minutes long, and believe it or not, I was never bored. And I think a lot of it had to do with that realism that was depicted, like I said, because their Skype videos weren't perfect 1080p quality like they are in most films. They glitch out. The audio from their speaking sometimes isn't in sync with their mouths. I mean, that's how it is in real life. And that realism from all the sound effects and the actual applications that we're so used to using made it very unsettling, because when you really think about it, we rely on some of those things to work. And all of a sudden, when something is inside your computer, not allowing you to close out of your Skype, not allowing you to turn your computer off, not allowing you to close out videos that are being shoved in your face. And once this thing starts to turn these friends against each other, that's when the movie went to another level entirely. The idea of this thing bringing out the dirty secrets of all of these friends into the open made it kind of psychological and took it beyond just the gimmick movie that I was expecting, and made it a lot deeper, because it really explores the internet generation of today and how sometimes the cruelty and the lack of empathy of people on the internet who have anonymity can actually be more frightening than a guy with a knife. And I think the fact that this movie is actually making me think that deep about its subplot when it's a movie that takes place entirely on a teenager's computer screen, that's kind of commendable. Now, I've been told by a few friends that the movie The Den is very similar, which is available on Netflix. I don't know, I have not seen it. So as far as I know, this isn't the first time a movie like this has been made, but there are aspects of it that I can definitely see being imitated, especially for the fact that I'm assuming this movie was made for next to nothing. As for issues with the movie, almost every character is like a horror stereotype. There's the funny stoner guy. There's the more promiscuous characters who are more sexually active than the more innocent girls. And then, it's like there are character tropes that are all throughout horror, and they're definitely there in this movie. And there's jump scares galore from time to time where sound effects just happen. But I gotta say, the most startling elements of this movie to me were when characters would notice something and they're just staring at it, and they're not saying what they're looking at, and that's just absolutely unnerving to me. In fact, the movie It Follows that I recently saw and really enjoyed, to me the scariest parts of that movie were when you didn't actually see it, and people were just like, it's right there, I can see it. And that takes the Jaws element as well. A lot of the scariest parts of Jaws were because they didn't show the shark. And that's definitely something this movie is benefiting from, because there are moments in which you don't really see what these characters are seeing because it's all on Skype and you use your imagination, which makes it more startling. Now, I saw this movie with 5 of my friends. 2 of us liked it, myself included. The other 3 didn't. So that should probably tell you something. I think this movie is going to be very dividing because it is definitely a movie that audiences are going to go to, and some will hate this movie because it's just a computer screen. If you're expecting the Hollywoodized treatment here with lots of shots and cool action sequences, you're not going to get it. I'm sure a lot of people will probably hate this movie, and that's perfectly fine. If it's not for you, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. And I swear to you, this is not a belated April Fool's joke. I actually really enjoy this movie. It doesn't open for around 16 days, but if you guys want an interesting and different time at the movies and a very unorthodox approach to storytelling, Unfriended is not that bad actually, in my opinion. I'm gonna give Unfriended a B+. It Follows is a considerably more well-made film with much better characters. If you're looking for that kind of movie, you want horror, you want some thrills, and you want better characters, go see It Follows. If you're interested in a different approach to storytelling and you don't mind as much about the gimmick of the computer screen and all that, check out Unfriended as well. But It Follows is definitely a better movie. But I gave them the same grade because they both do what they're trying to do, and they actually do it very well. It's really nice that between The Babadook and It Follows and now this movie, I've actually enjoyed some horror films lately. I really think some people are actually listening to the fans out there and making some better horror films with different approaches to storytelling, and that's awesome. Guys, if you have seen this movie, or if you plan on seeing it, or its eventual sequels, unsubscribed, unfollowed, and blocked, let us know what you think below. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.